Alright, so US shipping has gotten extremely complicated as of late. The current issue is that on August 29, they are removing the de minimis exemption, whatever it's called. And the problem with that is that, so what it is, it was a law that essentially allowed, people like me in Canada to ship to my US customers any orders under $800, tax-free, duties-free, everything free, right? It was just like, okay, just ship it to the US, doesn't matter. So some customers, it was cheaper for them to buy from me because they weren't paying taxes or duties than buying it from a local store. So it was obviously a great advantage for us to ship to US stores. Now, especially if you're like somewhere in California where you have a higher tax rate. Now, with this law being suspended, it essentially means the US government wants to get their taxes from payments and duties. So I mean, we have to obviously comply. So what's happening is on August 29, we're going to have to turn off Canada Post. Now the post office, all post offices around the world, not just Canada, a lot of them have put it on pause because the infrastructure for us all to ship to the US with, taking duties and everything has not yet been there, right? So like, FedEx, DHL, and UPS, they're carriers, and so they do their own brokerage. And, they do a lot less than the post office, right? Because the post office, serves everybody in America, not just people who are using the UPS or private couriers. So all the post offices, they kind of are scrambling right now. So you'll see a lot of them, just pausing shipping to the US, like Japan, Canada, UK, Australia, like every country essentially. Nobody has the infrastructure to collect duties and remit it to the US government at such a, fashion, right? So right now, I'm just going to tell you from our store perspective. So I'm in talks with Canada Post. Canada Post is setting up something where essentially we get to prepay for the duties. So what happens is when you purchase from our website, it will show in the shipping area, these are the duties and customs that you will have to pay. We're going to charge you that upfront, and then they will give it to Canada Post so that when it arrives to the US, the customer does not get a second bill saying, hey, here's the customs, you have to pay for it, right? Because that's essentially how it is here, where if I order something from the US, it comes in, my postman will give me a little slip saying, go to the post office and pay for this. But in the US, they're trying to make it a bit more simple, where, you pay for it upfront when you're purchasing the item, and then when it arrives to you, you've already paid your taxes and bills on it, and so now you can receive the item. So obviously this is like, it's a bit of a scene, because, because on top of it, some countries have tariffs on them, right? So if you have a tariff on them, then, you're paying tax and a tariff, and it becomes a bit more difficult. And right now the US is saying, if you don't have tax or tariff on you, or, what was it? They were saying, if you have a tariff, you have to, pay the tariff. Otherwise, right now, we're just going to do a flat rate of $80 on everything, which, I mean, I don't think if you're going to buy a $30 item and then pay an $8 tariff on it will work out. So that's probably going to change. It's just a temporary number for us. So right now the post office told me put your shipping on hold to the US. Obviously I'm not doing that. I'm right now using DHL. So DHL is able to collect the duties ahead of time. So when you purchase from us right now, you're going to see a very high shipping rate because we have to use DHL, because they're the only people right now that are collecting the U.S. tariff and duties and then bringing it across the border. I expect hopefully in the next 5 to 10 days, Canada Post will hopefully, this is us hoping that our government will able to manage the system. But yeah, so I'm hoping that they'll be able to figure out their system, and then I can switch back, because right now my company's account is with Canada Post. So, we have a very competitive rate because we are a known customer with them and we ship a couple of 100,000. So they give us a good deal. But right now, they can't ship to the US because of the whole de minimis expectation disappearing, right, overnight. So right now I'm using DHL, which is why I put a temporary flat rate shipping, because that's just a number that I'm trying to guess the average that can cost me to ship to the US with DHL. It's not a great rate. So I'm saying if you're a US customer right now, I would say put on pause ordering even, because I do expect, like, in the next 10 days, I said I expect Canada Post to figure it out, and once they do, then we'll have back our more proper rates of things. So like right now, because I think it's like $35 for shipping, which is 4-5 times more than what I used to charge. Because I used to charge like $8 to ship to the U.S. and free over 100. So our orders over 100 were shipping for free. So it was like a lot cheaper than $35 just to ship it with DHL. So I'm trying to I want to sort of say up front, like, hey, listen, I would love you to order, but I don't want you to pay $35, especially if in 10 days from now it's gonna be a lot cheaper. So I would say hold out until we get Canada Post essentially to figure themselves out and figure out how to ship to the U.S. Properly with with duties and taxes and all that stuff. Otherwise, of course, in 2 more days, Trump can change his mind, and hopefully, I'm hoping he gives Canada a little bit of a bone here and keeps the de minimis at least, or maybe lower it. Maybe instead of 800 before, change it to 400. 400, it's still, I can ship a lot of things under 400, so that'll be good, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see. Otherwise, right now, things are still coming in heavy. So we try to push as much as we can out the door just to avoid, having items held back because of this whole chaos that's happening right now. It's it's mind numbing changing like this, but we're trying to figure it out. So right now there's a temporary shipping to the U.S. that's $35, but because it's going to come by DHL, the tariff and everything will be prepaid. So on checkout, it'll be paid. So you won't have to worry about getting a second bill because it's all paid one time through that door. Because I know it always feels bad when you get a second bill, like after you bought an item, you get like a duty and stuff. So we don't want to do that. So we're just gonna put it out front and let everybody prepay for everything right at the beginning, and then hopefully 10 days, I want to say, because Canada Post told me they're on the 29th they're gonna get it. So, but I expect I'll tell you, Canada Post, they had they had a maintenance, and it was for 3 days, and it ended up being maintenance for 2 weeks. So them implementing a whole new system, I'm them saying that they'll get it in 2 days when I'm a bit iffy on it. My maintenance that was 3 days took 2 weeks. So we'll see how it goes. But for now, I think it's it is what it is. We have to wait until either the 29th when hopefully something will change. Otherwise, we gotta wait for Canada Post to implement their new system. So that's when I think it'll be really feasible, because right now I think it's really too expensive to ship, and I feel bad for the customer that would have to pay an additional $35 in shipping rather than they could have gotten it for free shipping or $8 shipping, right? This is all excluding obviously the duties and tariffs that possibly can or could not exist. So we'll have to wait and see. Otherwise, this is just I don't know. It's not a great update, man. I really wish I had some better news to say, but right now, we're just going through the motions right now. So we're just, I don't know. It's pretty annoying. I mean, over the few years, we've obviously shipped a lot to the U.S. U.S. accounts for a quarter maybe of our sales, so it's significant. 1 in every 4 sales is going to the U.S. for us. So it's a major customer base, and the U.S. customer has always been growing for us, and we're always happy with them. And so it was nice to they shipped to us, we shipped to them, everything was clear. But obviously now that's a bit difficult, but we'll see. We'll try to do our best to remain competitive with the U.S. market, obviously. Otherwise, I guess there's a few more things rolling around here in the inventory room. I guess, I don't know, I'll probably end up lowering my pre-order numbers just to accommodate possibly the lower in U.S. sales, but I'm not really sure, because a lot of it is just exclusive items, so you can't get it anywhere else. So I don't know what a lot of people are going to do about that. I mean, it's a thought experiment, I guess, that's for sure, because a lot of these sometimes are just exclusive items, and Pulse runs out, and a lot of people come here to buy this as a secondary place, which is fine. But now with the shipping being really high. I mean, the shipping, fine. Let's just say that goes away. But with the duties and taxes, I'm not sure how people will feel about that. It's got me slightly worried. I'll be honest. It's a lot of money to be like it's a lot of sales that I think people are not gonna, people are not gonna buy something if it costs 25% more. I think, but I don't know. This is just me thinking out loud because. I mean, I don't know. This video was supposed to be like a 5-minute video. I guess I just wanted to explain what was happening with my U.S. customers because I don't want you because I want to communicate, right? I want to be very transparent about it. I want to say, hey, like I'm telling you, like literally, hey, wait 10, 15 days. Don't order from me right now because the shipping rate is really high. If you just gotta have it, then you're sure DHL's there and you want to pay $35 and it is what it is. I'm saying $35 right now. I don't know if DHL is going to charge me more for somewhere weird in California. It was just like, I was just trying to guess that half my customers are East Coast and West Coast, and that's the middle number. Obviously, it can change, but for now, I'm keeping it at $35, and let's see what happens, right? There's a lot of frustration going on. I don't know, just in an ideal world, I don't know, maybe $800 was too high of de minimis law, so maybe they should like cut it in half or make it like I don't know 300, 400, like that would make it a lot easier at least like because I don't understand how if somebody buys like a $50 toy, being charged essentially the shipping plus duties and customs makes it viable, right? It just becomes like you're paying twice the amount now because you have to pay shipping at such a high cost. And in the post offices, I don't know. I really don't know how government post offices, like, I expect the Japanese post office will be, quick to maybe adapt because, the Japanese are really good. And so maybe the Germans, I don't know, because they also have a lot of bureaucracy. Canada, I don't know. Canada, it's, like I said, it took 2 weeks to finish a 3-day maintenance. It wasn't even 3 days. They said on Friday, we're going to start maintenance at downtime on Saturday. And, they were expecting to be operational by Monday. And then here we are. Then, like, 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, we're finally operational. I'm like, oh, my God. What you estimated to take 3 days took 2 weeks. And now you're like, yeah, we're going to implement this whole, duties prepaid or duties paid before delivery or whatever. DPP or DDP. Yeah, that's what it is. It's called DDP. Duties. No. DPP, duties paid, prepaid, something like that. Somebody in the comments will correct me, I'm sure. Otherwise, everybody, this is the situation. And I don't know, I just want to put it out there because I know we'll eventually get it fixed. Like, at some point, Canada Post will be operational. But for now, I guess I'm just going to say, like, stay frosty. Yeah, we'll just keep it at that.